and instead I'm going to present on my experience using her platform, the Learning Thermometer, and how I've integrated that with PATS. First, I want to start with a bit of context and then a bit of a description about the Learning Thermometer before moving on to my actual experience within it. So you'll be very familiar with the PATS program by your own initial experiences and also your exposure today. And you'll notice that this image down the bottom of the slide here presents the PATS program. It also has 4 thermometers. And these are to indicate the Learning Thermometer, which are implemented 4 times during the semester. Now, the Learning Thermometer was developed by Helen Storman of University of Queensland, now at the University of South Australia. And she's undertaken or developed this largely as a means to raise the awareness for students of their own well-being or their own resilience in the transition to university. It's a web-based tool, and it's to help students reflect on their learning. It's to help the students get the feedback and the support that they need to progress their learning, and also to provide feedback to the lecturers of the units that they're taking. The Learning Thermometer additionally provides student feedback to the lecturer so that they can then assess the usefulness of the resources and the learning environments that they're providing. Now, I was involved in a PATS partnership where we used the Learning Thermometer, myself and my partner. We're in a reciprocal partnership rather than a mentor-mentee relationship. My focus that I was undertaking within this was implementing a pedagogical change, which was including flipping the classroom. Now, in this change that I was implementing, which is new also for the students, who had generally been interacting within a usual, or what we term as a usual learning environment within our faculty of tutorial and lectures, I had 3 quite distinct learning environments and had these sort of programmed into our student model. And the 3 stages were a pre-class preparation stage, an in-class extension, application and review stage, and a post-class assessment and reflection stage. So in this talk, just to focus on what I did do, I want to first discuss how the Learning Thermometer was integrated into my unit, and then second, how it was integrated into the PATS program. And then I'll conclude with some key outcomes for the students and also for me as a teacher within the unit. So first to integration. The Learning Thermometer and into the unit. Well, my initial driver to participate in the PATS program was actually the Learning Thermometer. And I couldn't participate or couldn't use the Learning Thermometer unless I did use the PATS program. And this here was quite a pleasant experience. It was a beneficial and complementary package, the PATS and the Learning Thermometer. Now, for the Learning Thermometer integration in the unit, my integration was primarily to increase the students' awareness and engagement and impact, and more particularly about the students' self-awareness and engagement to become more active and responsible learners, and in this to actively engage in their own professional development. My primary objective within using this program was to get the students into a state where they were going to be better, more self-responsible, more independent or autonomous learners. And this was provided in the integration into the unit where the students would participate in those regular in-system feedback sessions where the students would complete that survey in week 0, week 4, week 8 and week 12 where they'd provide input into the system to tell the system how they're going in their mental resilience and their learning progress and how they were feeling overall at their time, with their time at university. And this system also provided feedback to the students. Additionally, through this process, I obtained feedback about how students were going and their progress towards our learning objectives. And so for this integration, then how I integrated this or how it was integrated into the PATS program was largely through our stage 4 and getting the student feedback. But I found it was much more beneficial than just that stage 4, getting that student feedback. First and foremost, it provided a very regular and very useful tool and giving regular insights to the impact of the changes I made on the unit. And especially the usefulness of the various learning environments and the learning resources that are provided or are changed within that program. So to every 4 weeks, we were able to get feedback from the students about how those resources and environments were going for them. And the second key point, as I've already highlighted, was that within the PATS process at stage 4 of that model was to get informal or get feedback from the students within the semester and then be able to discuss that with your partner or peer within that. And that they've provided a great foundation for that at week 4 and again at week 8. So not just that once within the semester time. It was also through that quantitative feedback that was provided that also gave us an opportunity to discuss with students how they were engaging within this new pedagogical approach to their learning, and also how the positive and the not so positive elements of that learning environment were being progressed with them. So it provided quite a detailed conversation starter to engage with the student voice. So for key outcomes, primarily the key outcomes were for the student, and this is very beneficial for the student. The learning thermometer gave students an opportunity to actively reflect on their well-being, their progress, their resilience, and their learning. Within this, it also gave them immediate feedback. It provided direct and explicit connections to enhance their well-being in both web-based and also in-person support and development opportunities. So the students were connected to the support that they needed based upon the responses that they'd provided in the system. Additionally, given the very early start of this feedback process for the students and the regularity of it, of the survey, starting from week 0 through to week 4, week 8 and week 12, the learning thermometer also provides students with time to make impactful changes on their process and the way that they engaged. It also gave them gave them time and also the opportunity and the direction to engage with those services or that development opportunities that were going to enhance their practice. Brilliant. Finally, for the student, it also gave them the regular feedback and also the feedback for me to redesign or to change their learning environments so that they became very active developers of their learning environment. They were partners in the development and the change in that learning environment, which enhanced not only their learning, but our learning as well. Now for the teacher, there were still some benefits, and they are great benefits as well. For me, the learning thermometer being integrated into the unit with the PATS program provided an opportunity where the active students were more active, or more evidently active. They were more evidently self-aware of their learning, their resilience, and the steps that they needed to become more autonomous learners. And they were more active in taking those steps as well. Others in the unit, however, appeared to be relative passive receivers of the feedback that they had received within the learning thermometer, and therefore their action or their activity in regards to that feedback may have been a bit limited. But I did not get the feedback or get the responses that students provided, so they may have been active. That's just my perception. The second point for me is that the learning thermometer provided regular first point feedback from the students. Again, as I noted before, this is quantitative feedback, so point or numbers on scales, but it provided that conversation started to provide that further contextualisation in the discussion and conversations with the students, which we did undertake within class discussions. Finally, for me, the learning thermometer in combination with PATS also provided a very explicit demonstration of the student pastoral care that we have, or that I had for the students, and implemented with a range of other components, really demonstrated to the students that there was a very strong interest in their learning, in their development, and their progression within their learning. And I think that their response to that was very positive, and me undertaking the effort to participate in the PATS program but also in implementing PATS, the learning thermometer. That's it.